Hey YouTube! So, we've got Japanese, says made in Japan on the neck plate. Don't know much more about it. I would kind of guess 70s, probably. I don't know what factory. It's not a pancake construction, which is, because it kind of looks a bit like my Arbiter Flying V, apart from its pancake, and it's also got the steel adjustable neck written on the neck plate, which makes it a Matsumoku. This, not sure about what it is. There are a couple of wee holes on the headstock there, which someone suggested that might have meant it was an Avon, because they've got like a wee metal badge that sticks on with two pins that's came off. Yeah, so it's a Gibson Marauder, Giorgio Marauder. It's so you've got, it kind of looks a bit, I don't know, it's like, it looks like a cream pickup in below a sort of Perspex cover, and this is, I think, a copy of a Bill Lawrence pickup, or it looks like a Bill Lawrence pickup. It appears to be, I don't know, it seems to have like 4 bars on it. You can see that. Sort of like a Telecaster looking pickup. These knobs are wrong. I need to, they don't quite actually fit either, which I find annoying, so I'm going to have to give Ronnie a try. This my pal's guitar. I saw this on Facebook Marketplace last week, and it was quite a good price, and it was like pure, and it's kind of getting used to it now. It's the same as all these things. When you first see it, you just go, oh. But I don't know, there's something. Yeah, so it's a kind of strange one. So you get a Flying V headstock on a sort of Les Paul Junior type body, apart from it's got an extra carve on here, with sort of Telecaster-y pickups. It's a strange one, but it's very, the bridge pickup is very quiet and very Telecaster-y. And the neck pickup is really beefy and plummy, I think's the word. And in the middle position, kind of best of both worlds. So this has got a really, in fact I'll check it. I think this has got a 7.25 radius fingerboard. It's whatever it is, it's very curved. It's definitely not what you would expect on a Gibson. I'll put this in here. It's exactly. I would actually say it's less than that. Could it be? There's less than 7.2. It doesn't even go any lower. I don't even know what sizes these go to. What's the next one down? No, 7.25 is the lowest go, so it's more than a 7.25, as in, or less than. It's curvier than a 7.25, so that's why it feels so ridiculously curvy. Because I was like, I kind of get used to it with my Squire Bullet and the Ibanez Blazer. I've got the 7.25. I think the Strat does as well. The first time I played the first one I got was the Bullet, the Squire Bullet, and as soon as I picked it up, it was a pure, curvy fretboard. Not really seen one of these before. Then ended up with a couple other ones within 6 months. I saw this and I went, well, it's got curvy fretboards. Whereas now I can pretty much play a 7.25 and not really notice, sort of thing. But this one is more than that. So I don't know, it's maybe a 6 or something. I was going to say there's a dent in the back. It's not. It's a bit of gaffer tape. So it's got a beautiful neck. It's got it kind of, to be honest, needs a refret. It did say that in the advert. The frets are kind of seem to be all right on the outside, but when you get to the middle, because it's so curved, they're right on the edge of, not quite fretless, but you know, when you're pressing down a string, you can feel the fingerboard below your finger. I think this has got 9s on it. I think maybe see if you put 10s on it would maybe help it out a little bit. So I kind of did a bit of fret dress as far as I could before there was no fret left to get it playing. It had some crazy stuff done to it. It was like the shim in the neck, right, which I can understand. You put a shim in the neck to change the angle back to raise the bridge up if the bridge is too low. But this one was like shimmed from the front, so the bridge was flat on the body. It was shimmed at the front of the neck, and it was shimmed at the bottom but not the top. So this end of the bridge was sitting flat, and then it was, as soon as I noticed it, because the thing was, it was sort of playing. Someone's had a go who doesn't have a clue what they're doing to make it play, and they'd done this thing, and it was like, it was, when you look down the neck, it was like that. And it's like, oh god, it's because it's got shims in the stupid places on it. So it's kind of it's now playing much better. I had to keep the action slightly high. It's not unplayably high, but Steve Vai wouldn't like it. Just seems a little bit, especially when you bend. It's not going to do the Dave Gilmour bend. Oh, sorry, that's in the wrong pickup though. Tone works, but even though I've not tried it. Does. But it seems to be really well built. It's Japanese one. I don't know, is it Mercury or I don't know. Maybe Matsumoku. Don't know. The tuners aren't fantastic. They're all right in a kind of vintage. I should really take them to bits and see if I can bend them with pliers to get them a bit tighter. They're just seem, once they're in tension, they're fine. Just when I took the strings off, it was kind of like a few of them were a bit sort of wobbly. I think they've been bashed, which often happens with this sort of thing. They don't really take impact very well. But in some ways, if you bash like a seal tuner or a Gota one or something, it sometimes damages the wood. If you know what I mean, it's like, whereas this, there's a softer piece inside somewhere that kind of bends, and it's like there's a sort of hook that holds the shaft. You sort of push that in the way, sort of squeeze it with pliers or something. You can sometimes get it a little bit better. I won't really bother doing that. It seems it's all right once it's in, once it's up to tune. I've used these chords so many times. It's the curly lead's not the curly lead's fault. Bridge is quite quiet. For me, it's kind of the opposite of a telly, as in the middle position is the best one. The neck one is nice and thick, and then on this one, whereas the telly is the neck pickup that's a bit not as good. Mind you, talk about a bit of distortion on Joy the US Doom pedal and playing through the Laney VC15 through that 3x12 in the mix there. The guitar, back connection pedal. Yeah, so it's a weird one. I think this has got 9s on it, and I think these 9s are very old. They're not rusty, they're just a bit dead feeling. They're kind of a bit jazzy, perhaps. Maybe they're a different type of string. You know, they might be. I don't know. They're not flat wounds, but you know, something like that. A different makeup. I would put nice shiny 10s on it. Maybe make it a little bit brighter. So I mean, it's got. I don't know. It's just weight. It's not super heavy. It's not like I would have said. Oh, is it a pure heavy guitar? And it's like, well, no. This is kind of in the middle. It's not light. I wouldn't have said it was heavy. I'm going to guess at about 4 kilograms, because maybe 3.9. I'll guess, just to see. I was saying these tuners aren't very good. I'm just going to about to hang the guitar off them as well to see. So how right was I? 3.78. So just under 4 kilograms. So it's significantly lighter than. Well, not really significantly lighter. Basically, I was kind of right, wasn't I? What did I say? 3.8? Did I say 3.9? If I said 3.8, I was bang on. If I said 3.9, it'd be 100 grams off. It's pretty good. Yeah, you can put Yeah, so your guitar's ready, Ronnie. I don't think I wouldn't bother changing the tuners. They're not brilliant, but I don't think it. Maybe if you're going to do a world tour, you know, maybe you would put better tuners on it. But if you're playing in the house, they don't slip in like that. I'd do a wee bit of truss rod adjustment as well, maybe. And I don't think you're at a refret. It's just I've got my Antoria Telecaster is how low you can get, how little fret you can get away with, and it's just got a inkling slightly towards that, so but not too much. It's just a little bit in there. I mean, this guitar might have been like that anyway. I don't really know much about the Marauder. I know it's from what they call the Norlin era, like the Gibson one is obviously a copy of it. I think the Gibson one might actually be a bolt-on neck as well, and it's got the Flying V headstock. I think, well, I was going to say that they were using up old parts, but I'm not really sure because the neck on a Flying V would be set, wouldn't it? I don't think you would get a bolt-on. I don't know, who knows what they were doing in the 70s in Gibson. I mean, it's like, it was not this guitar, but the ones that they were, you know, the actual Gibson one is the ones that the Washburn Falcon and stuff were kind of competing against, and they were better guitars. A lot of people don't like these. There's one called a Corvus as well, which is really strange looking. I suppose kind of trying to do something new, but people don't like things that are new. No, you can't have new. Oh, no, you can't have new guitars. And you go into a guitar shop now, and it's like, okay, there's no new guitars. They're all 50s and 60s ones. Although I do quite like what Fender are doing with their sort of, and Squier as well, with their sort of making up. Is it the sort of idea of having like a pawn shoppy one where it looks like a 60s guitar? It's like, oh, it's a Telecaster, but it's got like, you know, it's a thin line and it's got P90s and a slightly different scratch plate, or it's, you know, these sort of things are quite cool where you've got, or maybe it's like a sort of, there's one with a strap body with telly pickup, you know, that sort of thing, pretty cool. Your vintage modified, and classic vibe type things. I kind of like that idea, but they're not new guitars. You know, I mean, they are. It's like they're pure. Let's play it really safe. We're Fender. We make tellies, strats. I suppose we sort of make Jazzmasters and Jaguars, but not very much. So basically, if it's a telly or a strat, you're kind of going to be all right. Whereas this is a little bit off that because it's Les Paul shaped, you know. But the Flying V headstock, it's like, oh, is that really? It's really weird, and also just, you know, this carve kind of. It's a weird one. I don't really know how to rate it. Actually, looking at myself as I'm doing just now in the view screen, it kind of does look pretty cool though, eh? So I'd imagine, I mean, whatever the little badge on this would have said, I'm going to go, I'm pretty sure that this would have been, you know, like an Avon or an Arbiter or something like that, where it's like a British or an English guitar shop has ordered a pallet of guitars from a Japanese factory, you know, putting them out at, I don't know, half the price of a Gibson or something like that. before Gibson made Epiphones, you know, the cheap versions of themselves, and before Fender made their Squires for the cheap versions of themselves, you had to either have, you know, you only got Gibsons and Fenders, that was it. So they were, I don't know, off the top of my head, £500 or something like that. So they had to have guitars that were kind of in the middle, and it's definitely not the cheapy nasty ones, which I get quite a few. You know, the Grant Les Paul things like that, where it's like they're just trying to. Oh, I think I've just that says Prime on it. That might be my pots arriving. Anyway, I'll end it now in case I've got to sign for something. I'm doing up a bass and it needed I didn't notice, or the guy didn't tell me that it's got active pickup, so you need 25k pots. There he is, he's going to the wrong house. Rock on! Catch you later!